And we know Australia is a nation of extremes. So from one crisis to yet another, desperate farmers across southeastern Australia are demanding the federal government do more as they battle what many are calling the forgotten drought. Farm groups are now calling for emergency measures from the Prime Minister and for him to visit affected regions, as many are forced to make the heartbreaking decisions to abandon their crops or worse, slaughter their cattle. For more, we're joined by David Johinke, National Farmers Federation President, live in Murrawarra in Western Victoria. Good morning to you. We kind of are getting a taste of what it's like out there just from what is behind you. Explain how bad it is.
So this drought has been going on for, in some circumstances, coming into their third season, and farmers are having to make some really tough decisions. And I'm currently touring the western part of Victoria, noting that South Australia, almost as a totality in its farming communities, absolutely grappling with this insidious drought for the last 2 years. And what we're calling on and what we have done is contact the Prime Minister directly through his office to call on him with the Ag Minister to come and tour these areas, because first of all, we need to be seen, we need to be heard. We have to understand that these are not only farms, these are whole regional communities that are suffering under these dry conditions, with even some circumstances of farmers running out of rainwater to run their households, let alone, as you're quite right, making tough decisions around their cropping program and then also their pasture and livestock program. So getting the Prime Minister out to see this on the ground, hear these stories is utterly important. And then secondly, there's some real big policy mechanisms that the federal government needs to get into place now, which is called the RIC, or the Regional Investment Corporation, to help fund these farmers to get through these tough times.
Yeah, a bad year or even two is one thing, but going into the third year and facing what you say they are facing is another thing. Have you had a response from the Prime Minister?
Well, we understand that the Federal Ag Minister, Minister Collins, is going to come and visit, but what we really need is the Prime Minister himself. If they can come and visit these flood areas, which are absolutely devastating for those communities, likewise, he's got to be able to make time to come and visit these rural communities that are being absolutely suffocated by these droughts, because quite frankly, in a drought, you've got very little choice. You have to make very big decisions about your future because you've got very few dollars to spend, and that has to be looking after your community, looking after your family initially, but then trying to run a business under those circumstances is extremely trying. And when you've got rain fronts that are so small and hold only a little hope, those decisions that are being made now will set up the rest of the year, the rest of the season of that farm. And without getting those settings right, it could be absolutely detrimental if it continues to be dry.
Yeah, no wonder people's mental health is severely affected. David, okay, thank you. We'll keep on this. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Here's Shervo.